Leaders is a leader of hope. What founders are selling to VCs? Hope. What VCs are buying from leaders? Hope.
Germany is saying, hope is poor man's bread.
I'm a university student. Besides from studying, how can I sharpen my problem-solving skills?
Yeah, so I think maybe you better work as an internship for Camera.
Yeah, I think so.
Hello, Taku. So my question is that you have 400 full-time staff, right? Regarding core values, how can you evaluate and make sure that the staff maintain the core values over the whole company?
There is many things to do, but basically I cannot manage everyone. So if we have 100 people, some people cannot follow because we hire a lot of people every month. During the interview time, you cannot judge everything, right? And then even in the probation, sometimes you cannot judge everything. So we detect some no integrity action. So in that case, we just need to let that person leave the company. But we need to be aligned in the beginning. We have a core value. This is our rule of the organization. If you don't follow it, or if you don't share the same thinking, you are not allowed to be here. If you talk about salary review or something, I don't want to review a lot, so it's very taking time. So we review once a year. Of course, some people might say, "Hey, I want to be reviewed more," but I think it's very difficult. 6 months is not enough to value two, so we do just once a year.
I have two questions. Number one, following that, for early stage startup, for the view of PE or VC in generally, how you calculate the valuation of early stage startup when they don't even have the revenue. Number two, for Taku, I'm very interesting about the point that you say when you move from the hands-on level to the leadership level, you don't hire senior leadership employee from other company, but you build from the beginning. But what is the factors or the criteria when you choose those kind of employee?
So first question, how the VC decide the valuation of the early stage startup. Actually, Genesia Venture invests in us when we have a zero revenue. Actually, no right answer for how the valuation will be made. It's always demand and supply sometimes. If there is some other VC is competing with them, maybe the price might be higher. Since we don't have anything to show as a figure, we just tell about our vision and the market size. The business I pitched to the Genesia they invested in that time is actually different from what I do now. So, I mean, different to the private equity, right? When the private equity invests, it's totally different. They have a formula or more in detail. But for the early stage startup like Genesis Ventures invest in the first round or maybe the seed round or something, they pretty much invest in people. And maybe the market size too, right? Those two things you cannot change in the future. But business model you can change, right? Show you're the right person, right timing, the kind of the founder market fit. And also the market you're addressing is big enough for them to make some money. Hopefully the market is also growing. And there is no winner yet. Something like this is important. For the second question, how I choose a team and let them slowly promote to be the management team or the management director. So for the young people, young team members, actually I don't care much about which university they go, or what they study, what they did, to be honest. Most important is like, again, how they share the same core value. And after we hire, what differentiates between just normal staff or being the leader, supervisor, manager, director is whether they have problem finding, problem solving skill. There is a clear difference between the two type of people people who can do what you ask is actually already smart. It's already good. But better is people who can find the problem. For the one problem, there is a multiple solution you may have. And there is always pros and cons. And then you can propose to me. I think there is a 2 or 3 solution for that. And I think this should be the best solution among because of this. And of course, that person has to be a person who can manage the team, having a good teamwork, integrity, leadership. But I think one of the most important things for being a leader, you can find the problem, you can solve the problem. Business is you find the problem, you solve the problem. Customer will pay money for you, right?
Okay, let me address your first questions. You know Napoleon Bonaparte, right? He's one of the greatest generals in the world, and he has a famous quote: "Leaders is a leader of hope." What founders are selling to VCs are hope, and what VCs are buying from leaders, hope. So Warren Buffett says, price is what you pay, and value is what you get. So for example, from the PE perspective, so it's not just the price that we, based on, CFA, like the books telling us how to value a business. We base on the value that we expect to get 3 to 5 years down the road. The equation of a PE firm is very clear. 3 times the money after 3 to 5 years. And in 5 years down the road, there should be formulas to justify, right? So if I want to get out of 30 million, that is my part, right? So your business has to be valued at 100 million, for example. And your EBITDA at that time should be XYZ, depending on the situation of the market at that time and also the market situations that we are facing 5 years down the road.
One thing from German, they have in Germany saying, hope is poor man's bread. Just you said hope. Yeah, I like really your measurement regarding Mr. Kwang, especially on that level, how you assess the startups. Just what struck me in the beginning, the head was, you switched in the age of 24 all in as a VC, right?
That was also a private equity firm.
Yeah, but how comes in age of 24 having a mindset to switch to the...
Because I am lucky.
How comes you're lucky? What was the situation, the environment, or is it like your inspiration? I think it's very useful to know why, how, because 24, it's pretty young, I would say, I was still playing basketball. And
we all have to find our own niche. At that time, few people in Vietnam knows about, private equity and stuff. So our stock market started in 2000. The first boom was 2003, and then 2008 was the crisis. So very few following this path. So I find my own niche. As long as you became a leader in that niche, that would give you a good ground to expand into other niche.
Mr. Tanaka mentioned that no matter what university we come from, and Mr. Kwang also mentioned what certificate we have, but we have to be an excellent problem solver. Because I'm a university student, I want to know, beside from studying, how can I sharpen my problem solving skill?
Yes, I think maybe you better work as an internship for Camero.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you need to have a habit to always think about why. Because the problem starting from why, right? And you have to ask why, and then maybe you might find some problem, right? And after you find the problem, you may consider solution. But solution again, it doesn't have to be only one, and you can have a habit to think about multiple solutions, and then each solution has pros and cons. How much money you need to pay, or how long it take, it depends, right? When I was a university student, I don't actually go to school much. I don't study much, but at the end of the school, basically there was a term I need to join some study club led by the professor. and I joined one professor group, and that professor is super famous economist in Japan, and he mentioned to us, you need to think about what's the problem. That is only the thing you need to think, because an economist is also, they need to try to solve the problem of economy. How can country can grow, whether the increase in the population, whether the increase in the efficiency or something like that. I don't know if Vietnamese university have such a group, but you have some group, or you guys can keep debating what's the problem of this country, why it's happened, how can we make Vietnam better, and that would be great practice, I think.
And don't forget to apply the internship. Cameos, yeah. Go ahead.
I have a question to Mr. Wang. I'm a graduate student for master degree in public policy. You are a lot of experience in capital market. This day we are talk about international finance center in Ho Chi Minh City and Da Nang. So please share with us some of your ideas about the perspective in the capital market for staff. Please share with us some of your ideas. Thank you.
Well, IFC is a big thing. Keep it simple. When you talk about capital market, when you talk about money, what is your story? Whether or not you can build trust. Investors won't come if there's no trust. It seems like we may have a good story, like growth, Vietnam, consumers, 100 million people, blah, 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 you name it, right? It would be the job of everyone. It's not just the government. It's you, it's me, it's everyone in the room, to build up the trust. For example, we are keeping our fund in Singapore because we want to build up our reputation and we want to gain the trust against the limited partners that going along with us. And if bad things happen, we are protected under the Singaporean law, and the investors are protected. And trust is not built overnight, right? Trust has a lot of substance that we need to work together to build it up, and that takes time. That's my whole point.
Thank you so much, you all, for having time with us, and especially thank you so much, both of you. You have been to work with us and share a lot of meaningful insight today. So we really want to give you a special gift from our side. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.